conceal my eyelids using this Shape Tape Concealer by Tarte. I'm going to use this mainly to cover my dark circles, and I'm going to be blending this using my fingers. As you can tell, it makes a great difference, and then I'm going to be also setting it using the Wet n Wild Contouring Palette in Caramel Toffee. I'm also using the Morphe and Kathleen Lights palette, and I'm going to be using that brown shade to basically just define my crease. I'm going to be using this fluffy brush, going back and forth. I'm going to concentrate most of the product on the outer corner of my eye, and I'm going to try to blend it out as much as possible, kind of going a little bit more towards my brow bone as well. So I'm going to be then using a more defined brush. This one is pencil brush, and I'm going to be using a darker shade from the same palette. This one goes a little bit under that first shade that I applied. I'm basically going I'm going to do the same motions and concentrating most of the product on the outer corner of my eye. I use this just this any flat surface that I could find. This one is a concealer, and as you can tell, it worked perfectly just to kind of create a cat eye on the outer corner of the eye with this darker shade that I used. Then I'm going to use the same fluffy brush again, and I want to blend this out as much as possible. I used this Morphe E35 palette, and using that shade that you saw right there, which is a more chocolate color, I layered this over top the darker shade and kind of blended out, also not covering so much the orangey brown, but more or less just kind of diffusing everything out. I'm going to use for primer the Wet n Wild face primer, and then I'm going to be doing my foundation that I did not include on this video, but this one I used the Makeup Forever foundation in the shade 127, and then I used the same Shape Tape concealer in the shade medium to conceal my under eye, my forehead, the bridge of my nose, my under my nose, and also on my chin. And I blended this out using my beauty blender, which this creates, as you can tell, a more highlighted face under my eye. Then from the same palette from Kathleen Lights and Morphe, I used the brightest shade. This one is kind of glittery, so what I used later on was a setting spray, so you can have a lot more control over the eyeshadow. This one is a pop of color that creates with this St. Patrick inspired look. This one is very effortless, so this is basically where you have your green in your eyes just under the bottom lash. I used a pencil brush for this, and then as you can tell, I wet again. I spritz my definer flat brush. This one is a Morphe E43, and I used a darker green. She included another darker green, and this one I used it more like an eyeliner, pretty much, only on the bottom lash. And like I said, the setting spray helps you a lot because you have a lot more control over the eyeshadow, and it doesn't just create a hot mess under your eye. I went ahead and also used a Studio Fix by MAC to kind of set my face, and then I'm using this NYX contouring palette and highlighting palette with this Morphe brush just to kind of carve out my cheeks, and then also by my hairline as well, on my forehead, and also on my jawline. I was a little hesitant with this brush at the beginning, but as the more I use it, the more I like it because I think it's the perfect size for my cheeks. Then I'm going to be bronzing with the other warmer shade from that same palette, and then using the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper, I'm going to be creating a wing just as an eyeliner, so very carefully just creating a wing. Is not too thick, but I really liked how this one turned out because it's a little bit longer than what I usually wear it. And then I just went ahead and filled this in using the same tattoo liner, which I love. This one is a brush tip, and it actually lasts a while. I use it pretty much every day, so I really recommend it. Then I'm going to use this NYX lingerie from the lingerie collection. This one is in the shade Beauty Mark, and I'm going to kind of overline my lips as well. and use this earthy tone to, you know, kind of complement the whole look. Then I'm using the champagne shade from the same palette, and I'm going to be highlighting the inner corner of my eye using just, you know, a tiny brush. Also on the tip of my nose, on the bridge of my nose, and also on my cupid's bow. I had already applied the lipstick, but I was very careful applying this highlighter. Then also the brow bone, and I use the same eyeshadow to highlight the high points of my cheeks using this Morphe brush as well, which is perfect for highlighting. And then a little bit of blush. This one is Mellow Wine by Wet n Wild. And this completes the look. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.